cross the gun line. Yeah, you know that I'm on my grind. Yeah, I'm self-paid, self-employed. I gotta get paid, homie, I gotta get paid.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of SelfPaid. We're running these back-to-back for you guys, so just letting you guys know we are actively here and we are recording. You got myself, Dom.
Yeah, you got Alex again. I haven't changed.
Yeah, all right. And then we have a special guest. We got Chris in the building. Chris, let them know who you are. What do you do?
Introduce
yourself a little bit.
All right. Well, a lot of people think my last name's Valentino, but it's like not.
I thought it was Bolton.
No. So that's like an insider. We like fuck around with High School Musical so much. Do you guys cuss on this? Are we allowed to cuss?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about
I don't know. Sometimes
we haven't even decided. I mean, I'm just like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's monetized. Cussing is just maybe not like, bad words, but.
But my name is Christopher Valentino Marroquin. I go by Christopher Valentino. It just sticks easier to people. I own a landscape business. I'm a contractor pretty much overall. I do anything from tree trimming to barbecues to we have routes that mow lawns. So we have it all. And that's something that my dad actually started back when I was like a little kid. Before that, he was a bus driver. And it just took off, and that's what we've been doing. I didn't go to college because he always said like, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I didn't go to college. He said that if his words were always, look, people that, and nothing against people who go to college, like this is just what I do, like what I did to chase my success. I'm still chasing it. He would say, people that go to college, most of them, they're chasing money, a lot of it. And if you can do that now, why would you go to college? And, he was never against it. He said, if you want to go, I support you, I'll help you. But if you're chasing money, we can get that for you right now. So off the bat, like I went into ninth grade, like it kind of fucked with me because in ninth grade, I was like, all right, like fuck school, fuck college, fuck all that.
Why am I even here if my dad's over here telling me? Yeah.
So I would go in and I would just do the bare minimum, like C's. Like I would just be getting straight C's. I didn't care about nothing. And that's the kind of like mentality I had. And that's why I say it kind of fucked with me, because it turned me into kind of like an asshole in high school, especially. My first car was a brand new BMW, like 3 Series. Red interior wasn't even a thing yet. And I had the one with the red interior. And my brother got the same car the same day, but in white, and he didn't even have a license. So we were driving from the same house to school in these 2 cars.
Separately.
Damn. So people were like, these guys are assholes. Like, they drive the same car, different colors. They live in the same house. They go to the same school and they're driving separate cars. One of them doesn't even have, he was like 14 and a half.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit. But my dad, like, cause my brother wanted to buy a motorcycle. He's like, no, you're going to go kill yourself. I'll help you get a Beamer. And then obviously I needed a car, so he got me at the same time. Yeah. Damn. But yeah, that's what we do. We do landscape. We do anything outside, really. And we're getting involved. Like now we're jumping into construction. Really anything,
like just buildings or
not so much like residential construction, more of along the lines of like we work a lot with management companies. So for example, next week I'm building a utility closet for this building. Construction in that sense, nothing crazy like, because then that's a different license. And we don't want to get into all that.
I mean, if you're good at what you, or not good, I mean, you are good at what you do, but if you're seeing results off of what you do, why change it? Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's working, and I don't want to bite off more than I can chew.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the whole school thing, I think I believe education is important. I don't necessarily think school is important, right? Because I think you can get, like, I learned a lot of things for free on YouTube. Right? But on the other side of things, I do think school is one of the hardest things in terms of, like, it's hard. Time management, when you have, like, just managing time is hard. Managing, like, because at that point in time, you're juggling a job for the most part. Most people are working jobs, and so in time management. But number 2, I think it requires a lot of discipline. I think that's my take on school, because my take on school was a little bit different, where all high school I was like, I have to go to school, right? My mom's like, if you don't go to school, you're a failure. And that's how I that's what was like implemented in me from a young age. And then I joined the Marine Corps to pay for school because I had no money. So I was like, okay, the government's going to pay for it. And I got into school. I transferred into a school and I dropped out. And that's when it hit me, like basically what your dad says. But I had to realize it where I was like, fuck, I'm 23. It took me 23 years to realize it's not important. It's as important as I think it is. And I think people misunderstand school and education are, I think, two different. They're correlated, but I think I look at it differently, right? Where you can be like what your experience is how you're educated, and I think what you know, it's basically knowledge, right? And it's true. And so I was thinking when you told me like, hey, your dad was like, if you want to make money, chase money now, it's in front of you. And I was like picturing my life if that's what would have happened. And then you beat me to it. You were like, but it turned me into an asshole during that time because I was like, fuck it, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because nonetheless, like you knew that from the get-go. Like is that what you knew you wanted to do? Is like
well, no, because my dad was very like Mr. Miyagi. You know, like to learn this business, you're gonna go out and you're gonna trench and you're gonna do all that. And I was all of high school. You know, my dad was one of those kids. You know, you go to Mexico, like Central America, and those kids selling on the street. They're like 3 years old. You're like, dude, what are you doing here? Like that was my dad. My dad was the poorest of the poor. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't have nothing. He was homeless. Yeah. But he was selling from such a young age. So that's all he knows. Mm-hmm. So he came to this country and, you know, he got to do what he does. And the way he like got into the business is actually like kind of a crazy story. And I can just summarize it because it's pretty long, but he was a bus driver for LAUSD. Mm-hmm. And he made pretty good money. You know, he was moving up and he would have got to a point where he'd be making like at the time, like $55 an hour. And that was a lot, you know, at the time. That was like his end goal. Yeah. But we were living in a 2-bedroom apartment and there was 8 of us. Oh, damn. It was my family consists of my 2 parents and then 4 siblings. Mm. And we had my grandma living with us and one of my uncles. And we were all there crammed and the only one like providing was my dad. Mm. My mom was like raising us. My grandma was just my grandma, his mom. And my uncle was just doing his own thing, you know? So we would go to this church and my dad's very book smart. My dad's like so smart. And one of the guys from the church knew that my dad was really smart. He says, hey, look, I'm trying to start this company, which was a landscape company because he was a field supervisor for one, but he wanted to kind of start his own. Yeah. He's like, but I know I can't pass the test. You know, I can't do that. So do you want to partner up? Like you pass the test and I'll do everything else and we'll start like a company. And my dad went in like, dude, I'll help this guy out. Like, I don't care about the business.
No strings attached. I'll just help you.
I'll get the license for you, like no biggie. Yeah. So he got it and they started like this business. My dad wasn't really involved because he was still working his other job. And one day the guy comes up to him. He's like, hey, you know what? Like I'm going to go preach in El Salvador. You know, like I'm out, you know, like that's it. Like it was so fresh that and my bad, brother. I've realized I've been looking at Alex so much. You're good. You're good. Like it's not, I'm not trying to say my bad. It was so fresh. They didn't have that many clients. And it was like, he told me he had this conversation with my mom. He goes, look, what do I do? You know, I can either stay what I'm doing. It's stable. It's secure. We're not really struggling, but this will kind of be our life forever. Or I can just go head in and figure this out. Like I know nothing of it. And my mom was always till this day, she's so supportive, whatever we want to do. She's awesome. Like, you know what, don't settle, like go do it. So she was the same way with him. And he said, all right, quit his job. Damn. He didn't know anything about landscape.
How old was he at the time?
Oh, my dad. Okay,
this that's a beast of itself. Right? Is to have
let's say I was like 4 years old. I'm 26. I'm 27. I don't know how. I think I'm 27.
95, 94,
6,
96. You're 26.
Oh, I'm 26. Yeah. So I was. So this was 22 years ago. Yeah. So my dad was 30.
30. Yeah.
30. Yeah. He was 30. Like 31. Yeah. Damn. 31. So, you know, he was kind of secure where he was at. So he just started, and he tells me, he's like, dude, I you know, to get into landscape, you got to know why a plant looks the way it does, why it's not growing, why it's, you know, this, why it's that. So he said, dude, I would step into Home Depot because Home Depot had the books and you can sit in their little patio furniture section that they sell, and he would just sit there and read because we couldn't afford much.
Damn.
So he would sit there and read, and
Whatever it takes, huh?
he's smart. He's a smart man, I'm telling you. So he would just sit and read because no one was charging him for the books. No one's gonna come bug you.
Yeah,
Home Depot.
right.
He said he would read and learn, and then he would do jobs. And when the guy left, they had this company, right? And when he moved over from the other company he was working for, he brought 2 employees that were gonna help them start.
Yeah.
So when the guy left, one of the employees was like, "Oh no, this company's gonna fail." Like without the guy's name was Vidal. He's like, Vidal leaves. Like this guy doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna fail. And one guy, his name is Cooper. He's still with us till this day. He said, "You know what? I'll stay with you. I know a little bit, and I think together we can work together." So my dad's like, "All right." So they built the company.
Then 2 together.
No, just my dad. Like he was just the one
He was
like
just the guidance.
doing the work. Yeah. So, you know, fast forward all these years later, like my dad sacrificed so much, and now he runs like a successful business. Oh, we run now because I'm so involved. But, and it all started from that, you know, just taking that risk.
Yeah.
So that's how the company started. Like it wasn't just something that he wanted to do. It's just, it was kind of given to him. And he was like, okay, like, do I take it or do I leave it? And he chose to take it. And it's given him everything he has, everything, you know.
There's 2 things I want to touch on just off of that, right? Though there's the whole risk factor, which I think in itself is another beast. But it's the whole notion of the second thing, which I'll do first, is the notion of everybody waits for like the perfect opportunity, right? And that wasn't a perfect opportunity. It was an opportunity nonetheless, and he ran with it, right? And like this is like a little bit of advice that I give, where a lot of young people, even me included, you know, if you're religious, you're praying for it or you're working for this opportunity, and you're waiting and you're missing opportunities because it's not perfect for you. Nonetheless, it's an opportunity that you can take and run with, right? Because I always tell the guys, like, if I went back, I'm 27, so 10 years, right? And I said my perfect opportunity would have been go to school, graduate, land a corporate job, climb the corporate ladder 10 years and CEO. But obviously didn't happen, right? Or it's like, oh, this new opportunity will come up. And it's not really the case, where I think like you were able to make the best out of and succeed off of what was in front of you, right? And the second thing, which again is crazy, where you're talking about a man who's taking care of 7 people?
Yeah.
Well, 8 including him, right? You got to take care of him too. But being able to have like the balls to be like, you know what? I can make it happen. I don't know shit about it, but I'm going to make it happen, is crazy to me. Like, that's why, like, I have a lot of young guys that we work together, and it's like, even me, I was 23, like, it was harder because I had, like, these bills, you know, like, there's, like, oh, there's the factor of, like, what if I can't support this? Or in his sense, it's like, I got 7 people. But he still said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that to me is what's crazy, because, like, you had it hard, right? I consider it hard because you already had the bills.
Yeah.
You know, just like him, he already had the bills. It's like you either make it or you're going to be in a, like, deep hole. So that's kind of fight or flight, you know, and most people will run from that. But I think, if you just take, like, I don't really believe that if you give everything your all, like, you're going to fail. Yeah. Like, I think you can throw yourself at whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. And if you truly, and I mean this in the sense that I know people that say, oh, you know, I want to get into real estate, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, what have you done? Oh, I'm going to take my test. I've been reading. I've been doing this. And then, you know, deep down, like, bro, I just saw you out.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, the real estate is just something you're telling people to make it seem like you're figuring it out. But I know you're not giving it your all. Like, I know. And then when they felt like, oh, you know, like, I failed.
It didn't work for me.
Exactly. But if I feel like that same person goes and, you know, like, shuts the world out for a bit and just goes head deep into those books and, like, starts focusing on what they really want, like, you're going to get what you want.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 times, like, you're going to get what you want.
Yeah.
But if you in the back of your head know like I'm kind of slacking, like that, you're already setting yourself up to fail, or not so much fail, but also like take way longer to get to where you want to get.
Yeah. They have this thing. They basically say like, if how big would your goals or your dreams be or your goals be if you knew you could not fail, right? And then in that case, it's like, fuck, I want a $30 million car, not a house. Like you're going absurd. But it's because I run into this a lot too, right? I'm sure you deal with like your employees or whoever it is that you deal with, where they say like, yeah, I'm currently, or even friends, I'm like not sad to say, but like I try to do the best I can to not necessarily guide them, but just like give them my 2 cents, right? Because that's all it is. Okay, it's my 2 cents. But you hear that, like that's why you hear everyone knows a real estate agent, right? But like we just spoke to 2 very successful ones, nonetheless. But it's what you just said, like you're saying things to kind of like not even trick yourself, but to make you feel like
you have it figured out.
I have it figured out, or I'm on the way to figure it out. But what you're leading to, or what you were saying, is that if you really wanted to do that real estate, like if real estate is what you wanted to do, you would figure it out and you would be successful at it, right? Because it's true, like what you said about like, so when I started in the industry, I didn't tell anybody because I came from a salary job, right? I had basically like everything was just not figured out, but like I didn't really have bills at that time. Like, you know, I was in the military, so I was getting my pay, but I was also getting housing allowance. But I was living in the barracks, right? And I have all this, not all this money, but to me, all that money was just pocketing. So for me to be able to save almost 5,000 at that age, I was like, I'm saving $5,000 a month. I'm not spending it on shit. To me, it was like, okay, in 10 months, I'm gonna have 50 grand saved. And at that moment, it was like, I worked my ass off to have like 40, 50 grand in the account already. And then I saved more and more. And then it was a culture shock coming into what I do now. And I didn't have a bad attitude. I kind of did, where I was like, fuck, I don't know what, I know this isn't the perfect opportunity for me, but I can run with it. So I kept quiet. I didn't tell anybody, like, besides you and like 2 people. Like nobody knew what I was doing. And that's what it is, right? It's like you hear everyone saying like, oh, I'm doing this now, but you know within you, like, bro, I just saw you doing this. And
or like, oh, you were just doing real estate a week ago. Yeah. And now you're doing this. It's
like you're a dentist now?
Yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
But yeah, that's what I did. Is like, and it, when you saying that just like made me realize that I did that because I was so committed, not because I enjoyed it, but I was just so focused on making this work, right? Where I didn't, like I'd be lying if I said like I didn't struggle and I was like, fuck, I can go back to being a mechanic. That was my trade in the Marine Corps. I was like, I got offers as a mechanic, fuck it. But that's what I didn't want, because my mom always says like, treat people like they're smarter than you. So like, I'm not gonna sit here and try to BS you, because sooner or later you're gonna be like, all right, you're full of shit. But I do think that what you said, it's 100% right. Like if you do focus, you can get it. Like for sure. Like when you open your store, I'm sure you didn't know what the hell you were doing.
Hell no.
Like,
but I mean, working retail, I still had, a little bit of background of how to help customers and customer service in general. Right. And that's all I just implemented, was just customer service. Let's go at it, and all that stuff. But I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah, but you committed nonetheless.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, for a whole like year and a half, and then just.
Is that what it was like for you?
Well, for me, it was kind of different because, like I said, my dad.
But still, nonetheless, it's you having to learn that, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So, but let me explain to you how I got to that mindset, because before that, I was just that kid that like daddy's money, My dad paid for my car. I don't know if you guys remember my SL.
The Mercedes?
Yeah, the 2-seater. Okay, my dad was paying for that car. Like, I did a job for him. And this was actually a job we did at one of Chanel's like designers' homes. So it was a pretty penny. And I told them, like, I'm going to be committed to this job. I'll be out there every day. But at the end of this, like, I want a new car, and a nice one, because my Beamer was coming to an end on the lease. And like, it's crazy because like, that's what I wanted. Like, looking back now, it's like, that's what I was spending my, like,
Money, yeah.
that's, instead of him paying that car, he could have gave me like
More money.
savings, and I could have,
Yeah.
whatever. But I was like, you know what, I want this car. He's like, all right. So we closed the thing, and I told him, I was like, I want the car. It was May 16th. I'll never forget. We closed the job like on May 14th, and then May 16th, I was like, okay, we're going to Mercedes. Like, I know the car that I want. So we went, and then I test drove. It was a 2-seater. I was with the guy. He's like, hey, like, if I make you a stupid offer, like, you think your dad's going to get you this car? And I was just driving it like, yeah, dude, whatever, So whatever, my dad got me the car. So think about this. Like, I'm a kid. I was like fresh out of high school, like 18, driving $100,000 car. Like, my dad gave me allowance. Like, I worked part-time for him. I would go with him to meetings, and his thing was like, come with me to the meetings. Like, I'm not going to put you out on the field, but learn, listen, like watch what I'm doing. Cause every time I go out, I'm selling. He's like, I'm selling. So I would go, bro. And I promise you, like, I was not paying attention. I was just like, okay, like, what am I going to do after this? Like, what are the guys doing? Like, I was on my phone, So I got to a point where, I started kind of doing the numbers in my head. Okay, my dad pays for my car. He pays for, my brother's car. He pays for this house.
Like,
He pays for the company cars. It's like, this man, like, he has to make a good amount of money. Like, I know what these things cost,
Yeah.
So I got to a point where it just kind of slapped me in the face and said, dude, your dad's not going to be here forever. And I felt kind of like ignorant. I felt like my mentality was still so very immature to the point where, like, I couldn't support myself. My dad, God forbid anything were to happen to him at the time, like, I was going to be lost. I was going to be that kid that would end up working, at Abercrombie at the mall, because that's all I know what to do, how to do. So I was like, you know what? Like, I don't have savings. I don't have anything. I just.
How old are you when this this hit?
Oh,
happened?
this was like
when it
29. No, like 2018. Okay. 2018. So I was what, like.
Was that 20?
Dude, I don't
22,
know. I'm trying
23?
to like
Yeah.
So I remember literally just hit me, and I was like, you know what? Like, he's not going to be here forever, and I'm so comfortable, like, with my dad taking care of me.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of life I want. Like, if this man coming from nothing, literally nothing, built all this, he's an immigrant. He didn't know the language. He learned the language. He's educated, because he took a landscape design course at CSUN. So my dad has a degree. Yeah. So I was like, me being born here, this man already has everything built for me. Like, I'm just grabbing the crumbs.
Yeah.
Like, that's super foolish of me. Like, I can build this company, build myself to be 3 times what he's done. And I would be doing him an honor, instead. But that hit me, and, I said, you know what, Dad, like, I was out, he was sending me out on the field, and I told him, I was like, you know what, like, I'm wasted, like, talent doing these things. Like, what I'm doing, we can find anyone else to do. It's just labor. Like, let's just get them to do it.
Just like replaceable.
And I was just like that kid that, like, did all the talking, like, oh, I'm going to get my real estate license. Like, that was what I was to him. So I was like, you know what, try me out. Like, send me to clients, send me to this, like, I'll do. So I learned irrigation, and I became a beast at irrigation. So he's like, you know what, like, now I ran my irrigation department. I was doing sales for irrigation. I was the one doing the work, and like, it would just go.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that was in charge of the irrigation came to be my assistant. So
really?
The guy in charge was now my assistant, because I was just, taking over. So I started doing all that, and I started seeing, bro, like, I would do sales, and he was paying me good, because, the money stays within the family. Like, if we do really good on a job, like, it's not going to hurt him to give me my cut extra, because it's like staying within us. So I started making good money. I started saving, and I remember getting to my first 20,000 in saving. Dude, I thought I was rich. I was showing everybody. I was like, look to my little brother. Yeah, I was like, look, I like flaunting it, because again, like, I was a kid that never saved. He didn't charge us rent. To this day, bro, like, and I'm only gonna say this because if he watches this, he can take me out, but he still pays my phone bill. Like, I don't even pay a phone bill, bro. You see, I'm already moved out, and but I think that's just because he forgot.
Yeah.
But like that, that was like how my dad is.
You know what's crazy? That's my brother. Yeah. Like, that fool kills it, and he pays for all his own shit except for his phone bill. Yeah. Because it's all into a family plan.
And I don't want to pay for it because
Yeah, that's expensive.
But that's how I got into that mentality, because I was like, dude, my dad's not going to be here forever, and I need to make something of myself with he's young, I'm young, the opportunities are here. Like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 10 years. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, you know? So it hit me and I started saving. And then that's when I got like, okay, fuck the nice cars.
It's not,
Yeah, I'm like, I was paying $1,300 a month for that Mercedes. I was like, everything I could have done for that, like with that money, I was like, okay, screw that. I sold the Mercedes and I got a Tacoma because in my trade, a truck is more useful. So I was like, okay, I got the Tacoma, but still I was like, okay, but like, I'm a flashy person and like I just got a Tacoma. What are people gonna think? So I don't know if you guys remember, but I bought a Slingshot the week after.
Yeah.
So I was whipping around, it was like my toy. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I don't care what people think. Like I'm gonna do me. So I started working, saving, and then money makes you money. You guys know, like you have money will work for you. So we got into that whole crypto thing with Andy, and I didn't even know what I was doing. Andy's like, bro, I jumped into this, and me and Andy are really close. Like I'm really close with the family. And I said, dude, I got your back, you know?
You jump, I'll jump.
Yeah, literally. Because my mentality is like, okay, he's doing this. He's someone that works really hard for his money. He's not going to let it go to waste. So it's a gamble. But if he's willing to gamble this much, like,
why not?
So he told me, I was like, all right, let's do it. Dude, like, I don't know if you guys remember the time. Like, you guys remember the time, like, I was just pocketing. It was ridiculous. So
you were the smart ones.
Yes. I was the one being like, this is not going to last forever.
Yeah.
And people were like, bro, like, don't be, you know, like, build it. Like, you know, because a lot of people had money on paper.
Yeah.
And, like, they had way more than I did on paper, but I was putting it into my account.
Yeah.
So at the end, like a lot of those people that were bragging, bro, I know a lot that like came out negative, you know, and they're like, dude, like they still talk about it.
Yeah,
exactly. So now I go out, I wake up every day and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be better than I was yesterday. And what I like about my trade is that I consider it to not be going anywhere anytime soon because, you know, I do a lot of, it's tree trimming season right now, right? And tree trim is like a haircut. And we don't really do residential. We mostly stick to management companies and commercial.
Because they want their facility to look good and like always.
Exactly. There's just, it's more professional, I guess, in that sense. They're more professional, you know, nothing against the landscapers in their trucks, you know, doing just houses. But they really, in my opinion, they fuck it up for not just themselves, but the whole trade as a whole. Because let's say, and that's why I don't do residential, because I go and I bid someone, hey, you know, to trim your tree, it's going to be $1,000. The guy that does their landscape for like $50 a month is like, oh, you know, I'll bring a guy, I'll pay him $100. The truck is going to cost me $50. I'll pay myself $100 and I'll pocket $200. Like, I'll charge you $450. You know, but those people don't pay insurance. They don't, you know. So that's why we stick to management companies and commercial, because they require licenses, they require insurance.
More professional with everything.
Exactly. So the competition in that sense is like a lot less, because if I bid 1,000, this guy's bidding 1,050, that company's bidding 975. It's so all within the range, you know. So at the end, it's whoever they want to go with, but we're all around the same thing, and no one's screwing anybody. So it's something that needs to be going on constant. Like your grass needs to be mowed, you know, you need to get a haircut like every so often, you know. It's like, especially in California, like the way we portray ourselves to the entire world, like we need to maintain ourselves and our homes and our cities to be clean, trimmed, looking nice. So it's a trade that I love. And before I wanted to get out of it, because it was something that I kind of felt like embarrassed about, I guess, you know, because everyone thinks about landscapers and gardeners.
I got you. I know exactly what you're saying. Like it's not a pretty business.
Exactly. It was kind of like, oh, like people didn't see much money in it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he does that. Like he mows lawns. That's what people would say. Yeah, this dude's, he mows lawns.
But
that's what people say about my business. Like it's not pretty.
Yeah.
Like
But we're chasing, you know, the end picture, which is.
But honestly, sorry to cut you. I feel like there's money. Nonetheless, like there's money. It's not any less money just because it's not pretty.
Yeah. No, and it's a business. Dude, you go out there right now and you look at landscape companies, you look at landscapers, you're not going to find people my age.
Yeah.
You're not going to find like a white dude my age. You're not going to find anybody my age. They're all old dudes.
Yeah.
You know, and they're leaving and they're on their way out to retire and to, you know, move.
Are you franchising? I'm just kidding.
No, but I'm just like, I thought about this the other day because I drive around, like I go to job and I drive around and I see a lot of these companies and a lot of like dudes in their trucks, and their sons are not following in their footsteps.
Of course, yeah.
You know, so when it ends with him, like that's it.
Where does it go? Yeah.
So in a couple years, I do predict that this company is going to be very...
Like you're going to be the only one standing.
Kinda. And I'm going to be the one continuing it, and the competition will be less. There's always competition. But I think if you really think about it, like take a look around when you drive around.
Yeah.
Like this is not a business that people are opening up every day, that people are getting into. Like the ones that are standing and still going are the older crowds from the past, and they're on their way out.
That's fucking true.
So that's something I want to stay in because I know that the competition is going to go way, way, way down by the time I'm like 40.
It's not monopolizing because there's more there, but it's because you've had now your experience to that age now. There's going to be such a huge gap between whether it's like customer service or just knowledge that you're going to not even outbid. You're just going to have more value.
Yeah. The name, well, our name's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, like my dad, we've never advertised ourselves.
What's
Never.
it called?
I don't know if I want to,
Okay,
just because, you know, there's a lot of hater people and that's why I've never put it out there just because you know,
You're good. But if you
I'll tell you
to,
after. I'll tell you after. But we've never, like, social media we don't do because my dad always said, yeah, you can get a lot of good reviews, but if you give people the opportunity to give you a bad review, like, what's the point in that? You know, it's better just word of mouth. The people that are happy with you will refer you, and the people that aren't, they won't.
Yeah. You know what's that's crazy. That's exactly what I say. Is like for the I started in 2018. So I paid for marketing prior. I failed. I lost my money. Didn't even profit. I was in the hole, deep in the hole for the amount of time that I was paying for it. This whole time we grew organic because like I was so stubborn on the fact that I was like, okay, it's word of mouth is so important. I had a bitter taste because the marketing was like, it didn't work. I lost so much money. But in reality, it's the truth. Like word of mouth is more important. I don't want to say is more important, but it's like crucial in growth. And that's how you're able to keep the business for how many years? Like what, 20?
Yeah, it's been like 24 years.
Yeah. And that's something in itself. To stay in business for that long is another thing that I think a lot of people like overlook, where it's like, 25 years, like that's cool. But if you see the reality of it, like your day to day, I'm sure sometimes it's exhausting. Like, it's not pretty.
When you know, like you guys know, like when you run your own business, like you work more than you'll ever work.
Yeah,
you know, and that's something I explain to Jocelyn all the time because like she'll be talking to me and it happens to you guys, I'm sure. They're talking to you and your mind is just elsewhere. Bro. Like, and I tell her, I'm like, babe, like my mind 24 something about work. Like, did I reply to that email? Is this client's complaining? That's like, I go to sleep thinking about work and I wake up thinking about work.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like sometimes it can become super unhealthy, but that balance, because at the end of the day, I want to be my own boss.
Of course.
You know, you guys leave whenever you want. I see like you guys travel whenever you want. Like that's the life I want, you know? So it comes with sacrifices.
Yes, but that's my point.
At the end, the pros outweigh the cons. Every single
that's what
day.
I said. So like people, like I think there's like some people choose the, hey, you need rest, right? It's okay to take rest. And if you're efficient that way, by all means, go ahead. I took the other end. I was like, you'll sleep when you die. You little bitch. Keep going. Like, keep going. Like I have videos. They're just black screens. So I'm just putting it on the floor and I'm telling myself, you stupid bitch. Like I'm just cussing. You're not tired. Like keep pushing. And I remember having this conversation just recently where it's like, to the idea of entrepreneurship, we just had this conversation with Andy and Angel where it was like, hey, everybody thinks being your own boss is so cool. Like I'm an entrepreneur. Like everyone's Instagram bio is CEO or like their Instagram name is CEO or something. And it's like I think, not saying all of them because, but I do feel like there's this trend or hype behind entrepreneurship, but in reality it's like fucking hard. It's of course 100% worth it, which is exactly what you said. Like the end goal is so much more, like it's You're doing it for a reason. That's what I told myself. I would put in 18-hour days for over a year straight. I did that because of what Elon Musk said. Okay, well, this dude was working 40 hours. I worked 80. So if you do 40 times 5 and do 80 times 5, that's how much more or whatever. And I was like, fuck, you're right. Like, and to the whole being your own boss thing is, I think you have a good concept of it. I think you're a little bit more humble than you're coming, but it's like these people want to talk about being their own boss, but in reality, to actually do that, it requires a lot of investment. That's what I've always been telling everybody. It's like, change the word sacrifice for investment. Because everyone says I'm sacrificing my Friday night to be here. No, you're not. You're investing your time to be here. Number 2, you don't have to be here. Like, so one of my Marines, he told me this. He said, I don't have to be here, but I want to be here. I choose to be here. And I'm like,
yeah, it becomes discipline at that point.
Right? And that's what it is to me. It's like the conversation you said you had with your girlfriend or your wife or fiance, is the exact conversation I had this morning, where I was like, look, I'm not trying to be like disrespectful or like, or whatever it is, but it's like, there's sometimes I just don't think, like, I have other things on my mind where you're right. Is it health? Because that's what it is. Like, oh, it's not healthy to do that. But at the end of the day, I don't wake up and I'm like, fuck, I got to go to work. Like, I love coming here. Even if I'm tired, the last thing out of my mind is like, should I have to go there? I like being here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think that mindset is obvious. It's helped me continue to do what I do, because of course I have times where I'm like, this is unhealthy. And like, I even thought that to myself, like, damn, I'm out. I was at Hawaii getting phone calls and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not even going to answer. And that's when I realized, like, hey, I'm in that position where prior, I don't give a shit if I was dead asleep. I would answer your phone call. And then to find that balance, I think I paid dues, right? Correct. And you said it very well, where it is like, it requires that time to actually be your own boss, when everyone else sees be your own boss as like this cool fad or whatever it is. But
yeah, like something you just throw in your bio.
Yeah. Going back to the whole like valuing money, because that's what I was going to ask, right? It's like, how do you see money now versus how you saw money back then? Yeah.
So money back then was like, I need it, I want it, whatever it takes. Never stepping on anybody. I was raised, my dad, dude, I love that guy so much. Everyone says this about their dads. I'm sure your dad's great. Everyone's dad's great. But I just love my dad. I think my dad is like the best dad in the world. His morals, like the things he stands by, the things he taught us, you know?
Yeah.
He always showed us that like money is important, but it's not everything, you know? And then respect. So I will never do anybody dirty. I will never go behind anybody's back for $1,000, $100,000.
Couple thousand.
Like, to me, I value relationships, friendships way more than I value money. And that's something I didn't understand like not long ago, maybe a couple years ago. To me, money was everything, and now money is just a tool to me, just something that I need to get the things that I want. But at the end, like, I will always choose time, relationships, health over money. And that's like, again, something I just didn't get. Now I view money like I go after it, but dude, I'm gonna take that vacation.
Of course.
You know? Like, I'm gonna take that vacation. You know, if a client's treating me a certain way, treating the guy a certain way, like, I just won't take the job. Like, I don't need the money that bad, you know, like another opportunity will arise. And now I'm prioritizing, you know, myself, my relationship, my friends, because at the end, when we get buried, like, we all go the same way. You know, I don't take anything with me. My square footage doesn't matter. My car doesn't matter. So it's something that I remind myself every day when I'm getting so stuck up on money and chasing that next car, that next house. Because at the end, like, dude, time flies. How long have we been out of high school? You know?
Almost 10.
So
holy crap. Yeah. I thought that too recently, but like, damn.
If we're so focused on money, like, we're going to get it. And then we're going to look back and like, be like, damn, like, you're going to look in the mirror and be like, now I have all of it. and now I don't have much time.
Yeah.
You know? So I think definitely important to look at money in that way, to where it's not everything. You know, people say like, oh yeah, but I'd rather be like crying in a Lamborghini, you know, but you know, just make it to where you don't have to cry, you know, where you get everything and you don't have to sacrifice certain things. But to me, and to a lot of people that I know, like they're getting lost in the money, you know, they're going to buy that expensive jewelry, the nice cars and stuff. And it's like, you know, we used to be so close. I haven't seen you. Like now you're so focused on that. And it's like, do you even like, who are you hanging out with now? Do you have friends? Like, are you pushing everyone away just to get to what you want?
Yeah.
So it's not a healthy place to be in if you look at money in that way.
Yeah. That's what, so like you talk about like dads, right? So I don't feel bad for myself. My mom raised me.
Same.
And, obviously like it's a woman teaching a man's role, which my mom is I'm Korean. We're very Eastern. So like her thing is like, you have to be successful. Like you're a man, right? So don't confuse like being a male for a man, right? Because I think being a man is like, there's more to it than just having a fucking dick. Okay.
Exactly.
And, basically I grew up, so when I moved here, I had no money. Like I was 6 years old when I moved here, and like we came from, you know, I to my recollection, we used to own gas stations, a couple gas stations in Korea, and then moved here, came to an apartment. You know, I'm like, what the hell? Not that it was like moving was like, it didn't bother me, but it was still like, hey, we have less than what we used to have. And then my mom and like my dad was in and out, but they worked hard. They made some money, and like I had life pretty much set for me, and not in terms of like, oh, I'm gonna get left this trust fund, but it was like I didn't care. I didn't have to worry about food. I didn't have to worry about clothes. I didn't have to worry about anything that some people worry about, right? Where like I was spoiled, where like the contract my mom and I had was like, hey, you get good grades. Every time I get your report card, we'll go buy you something that you want. So me, it's like, yo, I want a Wii. All right, bring your report card. Ooh, here's a Wii. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I live like that. But the value of money, which is like what I can relate with, is like my mom says this: a man, when you work hard for it, there are things that he wants and he'll buy it, and he'll learn that way. Because you always say, you know, you've heard the saying, like, you don't have to touch a hot pot to know it's hot.
Yeah.
So you can learn from somebody else. But my mom says a lot of like men will make the mistake with money when they start seeing it, or they'll buy dumb shit, right? So that's what I did. Like I buy cars because cars to me, like I love
Everyone
cars,
has their guilty
right?
pleasure, yeah.
Right? So that's me. I'm like, okay. But then I was like, you know what? I bought the Porsche and I was like, I don't even want this car anymore. Like it was so disposable because I got it so fast, where like I tell everybody my first car was the Mustang, and that to me was my favorite car because it took me 46 hours a week cleaning tables at $7 an hour to get that car. And this car was just like boom, and I was like, I don't want it. Like it's not even worth the money. It's basically what you're saying, right? Like it's not important to me. Like I don't care to be flashy, or I don't care what people think, because when I got rid of it, people are like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why would you get that car over this car? I'm like, and then I heard this saying like that week, when has your opinion ever paid for my bills?
Literally.
Like, you got something to say? You want to pay for my bills? Like what?
And then you get like, at least I could say that for myself. Like, dude, I was caught up in, my dad painted this picture of me in high school where everyone thought like I was super ballin', you know? So that was the image I wanted to keep, you know? So I was like, okay, after this Beamer, I'm gonna get a more expensive car. And then after that, more and more and more. And then it was getting to a point where it's like, damn, like my dad's not gonna support me, like I was saying. And then you start to realize like the people that are, you know, talking about you is like usually the people that you don't care about.
Yeah.
You know, the people you're trying to impress is like the people you don't care about. Yeah. Like I had that, and like I was going out with girls and like they were all impressed and I would take them to nice things and stuff. I promise you, bro, the day I picked up Jocelyn to go on a date, she didn't even let me pick her up. But not once did she ever comment on my car. She never commented on nothing. And that's what I loved. I was like, this girl doesn't care if I show up on a scooter, if I show up on anything. Like she just wants to get to know me. And then slowly I started to realize like, I don't need all these things. Like the people around me know that I'm becoming successful. You know, the people around me know what I have and what I'm doing. Social media, like, dude, it brainwashes us so bad. And like, I took a break last year for a whole year before, when I was doing the whole podcast and stuff. But you see, like, we were just talking about dumb shit. Like I was just wasting my time partying. Like I was making good money. I was like not doing anything. So I was like, you know what? I need to get back on track. I'm old. I want a house. I want to do all these things. So that was me. You know, again, everyone does whatever they want with their own money. And that's another thing. Like my success, the definition of my success isn't this. That doesn't mean that's what success is. Yeah. You know, like for some people, their success is to go see the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. And then that's it. My success is having enough financial freedom to do what I want when I want. And something I'm big on, dude, is I want to give back. So like I want to give back, you know?
That's crazy.
Because my dad talks about it. My dad, dude, he carries every time $100 in singles in every car he drives. And every chance he gets, he gives it out. He gives it out. You know, he doesn't care if they look like drug addicts. He doesn't judge. He says, I'm doing my part. Yeah. They have to do theirs.
That's what our contractor says. Yeah. So I brought up this question where I was like, hey, you know, because the whole part of this podcast, like our goal is to give back. Anything we have, we want to give back. Like those videos where it's like, you know, I'll pump your fuel for you. Like I do that off to the side. I don't publicize it, but like I wanted to have more leverage where we can do that. But I asked my contractor, like, hey, I give money or whatever it is I can, okay, that I try to help, but how do you feel when you know they're cracked out or whatever? And this is exactly what he said. He said, are you giving money to pay for their drugs, or are you giving money because in your heart you're trying to help them, right? So he was like, okay, you're giving money for you to help in their way. Whatever he does, that's on God, right? I'm like, right, because I always hear, I don't give money because they do drugs.
That guy's gonna use it to go buy drugs.
You don't know that, right? You don't know that. So do what you can, because if you continue to say like, I don't give money because, or I don't, maybe not money, or it's like, oh, I take the time to give them food instead. Okay, well, whatever you can to help, great. But it's like, oh, I don't give because I know they'll take it and do drugs. You have no idea, right?
No, there's those videos, bro, where you see people hand people money and they take it, and what do? They buy food and then they go and they share it. Yeah. So you just never know. And again, if you just do your part, again, you're doing what you can. Yeah. And it makes a change. Like you say, you don't post. I'm the same. Like I think that posting is kind of like cringy, but at the same time, like what inspires me and motivates me is like me seeing it. Yeah, exactly. So it's like a part of it is important. Like you kind of have to show people, hey, it's okay to go do this. You know, it's not weird. It's not corny. It's not. Yeah, it's like,
bro, you'll be surprised. Sometimes at night, like I see these things like TikToks or whatever, and it's like, you guys helped me pay for this family's. I built a house for this family because of you guys.
Oh, Murphy's Life? Is that
I'm sitting there like, yeah. But that's what we wanted to do, because I had this conversation with Dom. Was like, I texted you a couple nights ago, where I saw this mom, saw this mom with 3 kids, probably in 6, 7, 8 years old, give or take that time or that age. It was a Thursday at 9 p.m., bro. And the 3 kids were like digging through trash to look for recycling. And it like destroyed me. Like I think I just came back. I was at Chick-fil-A, or I was somewhere, and I remember like just getting food and seeing these kids on the side, and I see one of the kids like in the fetal, not laying down, but just like this, crouched over, facing the wall. And I'm thinking, what day is it? It's a school night. They have to be in school, right? And I sent a message to the team. I was like, bro, you guys are blessed. And I always say, like, someone will kill to be in your shoes. And I'm sitting there like, hey, this is why we want to do the podcast. Like, I want to help people like this. And that's kind of like, well, that's why we started it, is to be able to have these conversations to kind of inspire people, but also to know like money is a tool. I say this all the time. Like, if you're talking about on different scales, right? You make $100,000 a month, and you make $150,000 a month. I could do the same thing you can do at 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have $50 billion. I have $40 billion. I can do the same thing you can
go
do.
buy the same car you have.
I can go buy the same thing. So use your money as a tool. Help somebody you can. Like, it hit me because last year, well, so every year, Thanksgiving Day, we always go and give food and give, like, you know, toothbrush, blankets, or whatever, like, we can with the money that we either donate or, like, you know. And one of my guys posted, he was like, this is the most rewarding thing that he's ever done in his life, was to be able to go out and give and feed, you know, the people in need. And I was like, holy shit. Because if you hear the way he talks, like, you know, he's a bro. He's like, hey, you know, we talk like that. But seeing that side of him is like, holy crap. And that's kind of what we want to do.
It humbles you. Like, it truly humbles you, because there's times, bro, where, like, I'm driving and I didn't get, you know, the sale because they just went with another company, and I was so focused on the amount I was going to make, right? Mm-hmm. As I'm sitting in my car with the AC blasting, shoes on my feet, just finished eating.
Yeah.
You know, you take all those little things for granted.
Yeah.
And, you know, you guys have new cars. Like, you're blessed to have the new cars. Like, you don't need it.
Hell no.
That's what I'm saying. But you have that. There's people that don't even have a bike, you know? So that's another thing that I really, and that's why I say, like, I was an asshole in high school. I didn't think like this. In high school, you know, I was a kid.
Yeah. Of course.
But now it's just, life is more, you know, about, I mean, I have on my bio, like, I just want to make people laugh. Like, I love making people laugh. Like, that's why I do dumb stuff. And it's just like, I love seeing people laugh. Like, I love, Angel laughs at my jokes all the time. His dad, that's what he said, my dad loves you because you make him laugh. And I love making that kind of impact on someone's life, because you know how people say, like, yo, you never know what anyone's going through. And, like, when someone's laughing, like, you forget, as corny as it sounds, like, you're just not thinking about anything. You're just enjoying that moment. Yeah. And that's the stuff we take with us, you know, those memories, those things. And that's why money is cool. Success is cool, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
So what I'm pretty much trying to say is, go after what you want, because you're gonna get there. Trust me, you're gonna get what you want. Just go after it, but don't forget on the way up, like, where you were before. If that makes sense.
That was a question we were gonna ask you. Is no, it's not. What's your why? Like, why do you know? People are like, when I started, it was like, I need to be successful because XYZ. What was that for you?
In the beginning, of course, like everybody else, it was all the nice things that I wanted, you know, the nice house, the nice car. That was my why. And over time, over the years, you know, as you start doing what you want, getting the money that you want, you start to realize that the things you're chasing aren't as important as you thought in the past. So my why now is to give, like, my wife everything she's ever wanted in this world, to give my parents, like, everything that they didn't have as kids, you know, to change people's lives. Dude, you know, I just went to Guatemala, and, you know, you go to Mexico, you went to Colombia, like, you see
how shitty it can be.
Exactly. And it's just like, what's almost nothing to us is life-changing for them. So a big part of me, dude, like, I want to spend my life traveling, but just like that guy, like, just changing someone's life, you know. Like, there's people out there that you see and they're, like, disabled, you know, they're handicapped, they're crippled, and they don't even have a wheelchair. Something as simple as a wheelchair that you see sometimes here, like the homeless just collecting is life changing for someone over there. There's people that have never slept on a mattress. Yeah. And what's a mattress to us? Like, to go buy a mattress, you know? So that has become my why. You know, just and again, like, as corny as it sounds, like, that is what brings me happiness, like, just changing people's lives, because my dad was that person. Yeah. And me remembering that's like, dude, my dad created himself, like, on his own, but if you go and you see those kids and you see that person, and you help them, you could be that step to
light that
to changing the rest of their generation for years and years to come.
Yeah.
So that brings joy to me, and that's what I like to do. I like to see people happy, smile, laughing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I do what I do. That's why I go sacrifice my time, my hard work. I sweat,
There's a bigger picture to it.
Exactly, yeah. And I feel, I don't know, but my bad to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys are religious or not, but religion is something I got like really into recently as well. And I'm a believer, and I don't do things because like, oh, I expect good karma, you know? I do them from the goodness of my own heart.
Yeah.
But I know that if you steal 100, you're going to lose 100 times that.
Yep.
And if you give 100, you're going to
back.
Yeah, and it won't come back to you. Let's say if you give 100, you're not going to get $1 million.
Yeah.
But it'll come back with like
Different ways.
yeah,
Like,
you know, just a happiness internally some way, or you know, and that to me is my why.
Yeah. That's why, because I think I was talking to you about it, right? Where I was like, when I wasn't me, but I was talking to you about like you give and it comes back.
Yeah.
Right. But it's true.
And those people that are religious, like that, they I hear a lot, like, dude, like I've been praying like to get the job, like because I want to make good money, and I didn't get the job, like what the hell, you know? But if you ask, if I sit there and I pray, God, yo, you know, I need this, I need money, you know, like get me this job as like, you know, the assistant manager at Ford, you know, like I'm going to make good money. Like I just need it. You know, he's not gonna give it to you like that. He's going to hand you a shovel and someone that wants to plant a tree for $200. And that's how he's going to show it to you. But most people like that's what I'm saying. They don't want it that bad. They want things handed to them because God, you're telling God you want money. Okay, here it is. Like, go work for it. Yeah. Go get it this way. So people really need to be careful what they ask for because he's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
But you really have to be open and willing to go after it.
Even if it's not the prettiest.
Exactly.
Condition. Yeah.
Exactly. Because he's not going to give it to you easy. If not, I'd be sitting here praying like, you know what? Like end world hunger, you know?
Yeah.
Like, or give me $1 million. I'll do it. But it's, you have to go out and do it. Because a lot of the people around us, bro, I'm telling you, like they're so lazy. And they come to me, and I'm not anybody. Like I don't consider myself, oh my God, this guy's Elon Musk, successful, nothing. I'm doing me every day, and I'm trying exactly
day by day. Yep.
But you know, people look at the things you have and they say, okay, how did he do it? You know, so they ask you, and I tell them, dude, go after it. And then they sit there, and this is what pisses me off. They sit there like, yeah, all right, yeah, you know what, you're right.
You're motivated.
I'm gonna do this, and then you see 2 weeks later, a week later, the night they're out doing the same thing. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So, so pretty much me, you know, people say like, hey, let's go to this party, let's go to the club, let's get a table, let's do this. My thing is always like, no, you know, right now I'm gonna bust my ass, I'm gonna lose sleep, I'm gonna work. Because right now we have that age where we have all the energy in the world. Like it or not, we can deny it, but we have all the energy in the world. I see those people going out, doing that, working their regular 9 to 5s. They work Monday through Friday, hate their jobs. Yeah. They go out on the weekend, spend their check, ensuring that they have to go back to that same job that they hate because they just spent all their money. And when I reach my 30, 35, I'm going to be chilling. You know, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be set. And then I can go party. I can travel to go party. I can, you know, do all those things while they're like, okay, fuck, I did all that. Now it's like fight or flight. Like now I have to start surviving in this world. My parents are no longer around. Now let's start working. It's like at that age, like, you know, but again, to each their own. Success is different. My success may be different from yours. I'm not right. He's not wrong. It's just what we're chasing.
There's so many different ways to go about it, right? Yeah.
Me, I'm just chasing that financial freedom.
But I'm glad like you were able to, like how you said in high school, you know, you thought you were like the shit and all this stuff. But I'm glad like, because I have like other friends too that, you know, we're exactly like that. And it took them like forever to be like, oh fuck, I can't live off of my parents' money and like shit like that. I'm glad you were able to actually like see the difference and be like, oh shit, one day they're not gonna be here. One day they're not gonna provide for me, or God forbid you guys get into a fight and you guys never stop talking. You're just on your own. You're able to make that switch and able to like move on to like, okay, I'm gonna learn the business. I'm gonna go all in, and look at you now. You know, you're doing the things that you said you wanted to do, which is like you got a house recently, right? Yeah. So congrats to that as well.
Congrats on the flip too. Huh?
Yeah. You know? So I jumped into a couple investments. Real estate is something I want to get into. So yeah, I went pretty well on that too. And again, it's just, you know, once you gather that amount of money starts making you money without you having to. Just it works for you. So that's what. Like if people want to make money, dude, bust your ass off, save, and I promise you that money You won't have to do much. Right now we start to work because our money, what we consider a lot, is not a lot.
Right.
But eventually it will be a lot. And then we could just literally.
Yeah, that's what I heard is like, hey, because I was very adamant about saving. And I know a lot of financial gurus be like, what the hell are you going to save for?
Yeah.
Like money's, you lose value, which it's true. Money does lose value. Yeah, there's inflation, etc. But like I was always, you know, I came from living, like my mom worked her way from living in little apartments, right? Where I used to sit under her desk when I didn't have like a place to go. I would go to work and sit under her desk, to living in like a 3,000 square foot home in Porto Ranch. And I was like, damn, got a pool back here. Like my first pool, you know what I mean? We lost it all. And that kind of shape, right? It shapes you a little bit, but what was it like? I think, but basically it's like I can't find the word for it. Like you have all that and you're talking about a level of success where I'm trying to put the word to it. Let me get back.
It could be taken from you.
Yeah, like at any point it can be, right? Like you know, they tell you like work hard and then spend it because you're young, or you know, I know people who are like, yo, you have the money, spend it, you'll never be. There's
like
this meme,
you'll make the money back type of stuff.
Yeah, there's this meme going around that says like, hey, you'll never be 19 driving an M3 ever again. Like, what the hell message are you sending?
Yeah.
An M3 isn't like, or whatever car is important to you at the time. Like, no, I had this conversation where I was like, my first time I went to Hawaii recently. That was my first time ever. Everyone talks about, I want to travel to Hawaii. I want to try. Was it important to me? No. But did I want to be in Hawaii and throughout my life? Yeah, I did. But I asked someone who went when they were 21. I went when I was 26. I was like, did you have any more fun than I did because I went later? No, you didn't.
If not, anything, you had more fun. Yeah, because you had your bread up and you want to go do it how you're supposed to do it.
Exactly. And so it's like, hey, it's not about, it's the delayed gratification, right? It's you don't need it now, but you can make your money work. And then soon enough, when you do have that time, have fun, right?
And I think that just makes a lot of people settle, that mentality. Like, oh, you know, you're not going to be 19 driving an M3. Yeah, but you're 19 driving an M3. That's all you have.
That's all you have, yeah.
Like, you don't have your own place. You can barely afford to go out you can barely afford the gas, but you got your M3, you know, to impress who? Your followers?
Yeah.
You know, you like having it, but they don't see how hard you're struggling to make those payments, you know?
That's why
people fuck their credits. My thing, I hate settling. You know, like, let me just tell you a story real quick, because this watch is a great, like, story on, like, how I just never settled. So, you know, Andy got his watch. Andy posted it, and I was like, damn. To me, at least, like, when you're able to smartly, is that even a word?
Yeah.
To just be able to afford a Rolex at the right time. Yeah. I'm not saying like, oh, that's all. I saved all my money and I want to go buy a Rolex. Yeah. I'm saying like, you buy a Rolex, it doesn't affect you one bit. When you can do that, that shows like, wow, like you're doing it. Yeah. You know. So Andy got to that point, but Andy had already had his house, and he was getting the watch, and I didn't have a house yet. And I remember at the time I had the money for a watch, and I was like, dude, should I have his back? And then I went to go look at them. And the guy had him, and he didn't have this one. He had like a little 36, I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, I'll sell you this one for like 12. Like, it's a good deal. And I was like, you know what? Like, I was putting on wrist, and I remember thinking like, damn, if I buy this, like, I'm going to think about it a lot. Like, I just spent that much money on this watch, you know? And I wanted, and I saw everyone celebrating Andy, like, congrats. I was like, dude, he already has the house. He can get the watch. I don't have the house. I can't get the watch. Yeah. So I said, you know what? No. And it killed me. Dude, I wanted the watch, you know? So it killed me. So I said, all right, right now I can't afford it to the sense where I could buy it and not worry about it. But what can I do to afford it where I don't worry about it? So I was like, all right, now I know what I need to do. I started working. That's when I went off social media for like a year, and I started busting my ass. I was like, okay, I want a house. That was what's most important to me. But I made some good plays on crypto. So I was like, you know what? I got the money now. I could buy the watch. I hit up the guy, and I got the watch that I wanted, the better watch than what I was going to get. Yeah. So I bought the watch, and I said, okay, I got the watch. Now it's on my wrist. It's an everyday motivation to what else I want. I wanted the house. And Jocelyn was in my ear like, dude, let's just move out already. Like, let's just go to an apartment. Let's go to an apartment. I said, no, Like, I'm not settling. I know what I want and I'm going to get it. I was like, you can move out on your own, but I'm staying right here. Yeah. And she was about to move out on her own. I was like, dude, just be patient. Andy was selling his house, the other one. He offered it to me. And I was like, you know what? Like, I didn't really think about it. I was like, all right, I want it. But he had already offered to my other buddy. I'm telling you, the investor. And that guy was like, you know what? Like, I'll take it. So I went home bummed out, bro. Bummed. I had been busting my ass off. I was like, oh my God, I was about to buy a house. I was this close. My dad was like all for it. Like, and when my dad has my back in something, I know it's like very hard for me to fail because if shit hits the fan, like he's got my back. And he doesn't support me on everything. Like if I tell him, hey, I want this one, he doesn't agree with it. Like I don't have his support and then I don't, you know? Yeah. So for that house, like, yeah, do it. So I'm driving home, bro. And they're putting up the sign for the house that I got. They're putting it on. And I was like, hey, this is right by my dad's house. Like, let me look it up. I looked it up. Dude, I called Danny that night. I said, all right, fuck your house. I want this house. He's like, all right, I'll get working on it tomorrow. I'm like, dude, did it. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Got the house that I wanted. But like what I'm trying to say is a lot of people say, I can't afford that. Yeah, probably not right now. But like, how can you afford it? You know, don't just quit. Oh, I can't afford this Rolex. Let me go get a G-Shock. You know, like, no, say, I can't afford this Rolex. How can I afford it? And then go after it. Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, if your mindset's there, you're gonna get it. Yeah. You know? And it's just that. Like
what you said before too, my mom says this, where she says, just because you can buy it doesn't mean you can afford it. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's the truth.
And that's what a lot of the younger generation's doing. You could buy it, but should you? No.
And no, it's not even a matter of should you, it's a matter of can you, right? And like literally speaking, if you have $1,000 and it costs you $500, can you buy it? Yeah, you can. Of course you can. You have another 500 left. But what I see is like people talking to me like, dude, I'm really struggling. I'm struggling with money. And I'm sitting there thinking like, bro, you smoke every single day.
You were just at the bar.
Yeah, like how'd you get money for alcohol? Like if let's say you're an alcoholic and you need your fix or whatever, right? I'm not saying that, I'm not condoning alcoholism, but like you're still spending a shit ton of money.
Or getting the fresh cuts every week.
Yeah, but it's like, bro, how are you gonna sit here and tell me I'm struggling and not reflect? Because weed's expensive. Yeah. Like I'm not a smoker, but I know weed's expensive, right? And it's little things like that where you have to understand, like, just because you have the money doesn't mean you can afford it. Number 2, just because you got approved doesn't mean you can afford it either, right? Oh, I got approved for this car. That's when it hit me. I got approved. So a year ago, I was going to buy a Ferrari.
Oh, I know you were posting it. I always saw him like, this motherfucker's going to get this Ferrari.
I was literally like, I was like, hey, let's go check this car out in OC. Like, I was dead set on like, I'm going to just
get it. Yeah.
Yep. Like I still got money in the bank. Like I'm just gonna get it. And then it smacked me. Fuck. My why is like I gotta give my mom everything. And I was like, fuck. I got my mom a car, and I told myself I got my mom a car. She don't pay bills. Like I took care of her. But then it hit me like, what the hell am I doing driving a Ferrari and she's driving this car? So 2 months later, I was like, I was walking the mall with her, and then that same like memory hit me. She's like, hey. You know, like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, let's go in Tesla. And then I was like, you like this car? Like, and she's like, oh yeah. Like, and then she started sitting inside of it. And I was like, I just ordered it right now. And then I called my brother. Hey, I got mama car. You want to go in? He's like, yeah, I'm down. And it was like that, where it's like, that's what mattered to me, because I still have it on I still have the email and everything. Obviously, the email's there, but like I have the invoice of all of it saying like, "Hey, we're ready. You can come pick it up." Blah blah blah. I have it saved just so I see it, where it's like it's there, but I have to delay that, right? And to this day, I'm like, I could have got it, because the way I think now is like car prices went up. I could have bought it and just profited, but I know why it wasn't the time for me right now, right? Like. There's a bigger picture for me where, I could have got it, but it's the same way you see it, right? I think when you start having a little bit, not just even a little bit of financial literacy, or you understand the more bread you make, it's like, okay, I know how to play it smart. I'm not going to settle for this watch that I don't want because I know I want this watch, which is the conversation we were having before. It's like, yeah, I don't want that watch. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. And I see that even with my brother. Like my brother, he used to, I don't know if you have vision boards, but like we create vision boards.
Yeah.
And
I was walking around. I saw you guys' office. Yeah.
My brother had a vision board. It's in his bathroom, or it used to be in his bathroom, where he had a picture of his watch. Before he bought the watch, he had that picture up, and then we go to the jeweler, and he's like, he obviously likes the watch, and he's like, he looks at me, he's like, should I buy this? And I was like, in my thing, it's like, the whole saying of if you can buy it 3 times, you can buy it 4 times, you can afford it. But I knew he had the money, but I was like, do you really need this watch? I have one too, but it's like, do you really, like, can you? He's like cold stone. He's like, yeah. I'm like, fuck it, go for it. And he bought it, and to me it was like, holy shit, he did it. Like, he came from, how he used to be. And my brother used to get in trouble a lot, like with the law and all this shit. But yeah, I think it is a testament to, like, understand finance is one thing. Having money is a different thing. Like, understanding the money is different than having the money. Because when we were young, like you said, we buy shit to impress people that don't give a shit.
That I don't even talk to anymore.
Right. And it hit me because I saw this video where this girl's like, how are you living in you pay $2,000 a month for rent to live, and your shoes cost $1,500. Makes sense in that. And it's like, holy shit.
No, bro, I know a guy. He wears all designer, drives an expensive ass cars, and he lives with his mom. It's like, what are your priorities?
Yeah, like all that designer, you could have taken care of your mom.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of her providing for you, switch the sentence to, my mom stays with me.
Yeah.
Instead of, I stay with my mom. Like, and you're spending all your money on this. I help your mom.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's paying for the whole house, and you're over here spending because she doesn't charge you rent. Like, you're spending all your money on this.
And you have bust downs and everything.
Exactly.
Like,
but people's priorities are
crazy.
But they say that, like, you'll never see a scammer with a house, only jewelry.
Yeah.
I'm not calling them scammers, but like,
yeah.
you'll never see you'll never see the people who aren't actually doing it in life.
And those bust downs, like, they're not even worth, like,
what you're paying for. Yeah.
They pay, and nowadays, like, I know someone with a fake buzz down, and it's just like, now they have the moissanite and it passes the diamond test. So they're rocking in, like, you could diamond test it. It'll pass every time.
I know people with fake APs with real diamonds. Or it might even be those diamonds.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, you're setting yourself up to that fake lifestyle. You're always just going to, like, settle. And I don't know. I mean, to each their own, but they're putting their money in the wrong things.
Yeah. If you had any advice, since we're, like, on the topic of all this money and stuff, if you have any advice to give to anybody out there, what's something you would give them? Something to keep them on the right track, or,
Like, if you could give advice to your younger self.
Oh, for sure. Oh my God, I would tell myself to focus on not spending your money on the little things. Like, I would walk into the mall, and shoes. I had the Vans in black, but I want them in blue. Just spending your money on those nice cars. Like, bro, I'm that guy now that tells people, for example, Lewis, right? He wanted to get another car. I don't remember what it was, and he had the Honda. I'm like, bro, keep your Honda. They're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna get you from point A to point B. Like, no one cares. You guys don't care if Lewis pulls up in a Honda. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's a new one. I'm like, bro, it's a nice one, new one. Who cares? Don't spend your money to impress others, to impress the girls. Like, because the right girl should not care what you're driving, and you guys will grow together. That's something I tell people a lot, dude. Who, like, find a girl, find the right one, and settle down, because you guys will grow together. Now, if you want to fuck bitches, get money, like, that's fine. But what helped me was find that girl that's gonna help and support you. You guys will grow together. Like, at least I believe everyone needs that person on their right hand. And just save. Don't spend your money. Don't splurge. Like, because it doesn't come back as fast as you think it does. Spend it because money comes back. No, it doesn't come back as fast as you think it does. But I think you guys would know once you start saving and you save up a good amount, you see how hard and how
long
it took you.
Like the
you're
work
not willing to give it up so easy.
on them. Yeah.
So all your followers, like all those people that like at the end of the day, they just want to see you. They want to be better than you.
Yeah.
You know, no one wants, well, not no one, but a lot of people don't want you doing better than them. So just remember that, you know, don't go out there and spend your money to impress those guys or those girls. Cause I promise you, you're like, if you're trying to do it for girls, like you're going to fuck her anyways, you know, kind of like,
and
if you're doing it for the guys, like who, you know, like
it's true though. It is true. Like it is, I think you get caught up. Like that's what guys do. That's what my mom said. Is like, hey, when you're a guy, like, and you have a little bit of money, you're gonna want to spend it on things that you've wanted, and you'll make that mistake, right? Because as much as when my brother started making money, I would tell him because I made those mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, don't fucking do it. Wait. And I was big on that. Like, yo, don't buy it yet. He had money for it. I'm like, don't buy it. Don't buy it. He's like, what the hell? Made the same mistake, and now he's so smart with it. He texted me the other day. He was like, I went to the mall because I needed clothes. I just didn't want to buy shit because I was like, damn, you were the moron that used to buy Supreme this. You know, when Supreme was a thing, it was like you used to buy Supreme this, and you had no money in your bank, and now you got a little money in your bank, and he's like, no, I don't want to spend it.
You know, he still goes on OfferUp and like he's like, oh, I can find this on OfferUp. Fuck that.
You become smarter with your money because again, you work so hard for it. And me personally, like I'd rather have a nice amount of money in the bank than be wearing like
it on.
You know, especially nowadays where designer you can find it for fake. Like I know a guy that wears fake Balenciaga shirts and they look real, and it's just like, I would hate to spend $800 on this and dude's wearing it for $10 or like $200.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I told you.
Yeah, no one can even tell the difference. It's like I feel foolish like walking into these designer stores and like giving them my money. Something I just heard recently and I love is like Gucci doesn't pay you to wear them. Like brand yourself, wear your own brand. You know, like market yourself, what you're doing. Yeah. And it's like, dude, 100%. Like we go out here and we wear. Whatever it might be, but it's like Paxton, right? Like make a fucking sick ass Paxton shirt, rock Paxton. What the fuck is that? My company.
I wear
that's
Paxton
what I'm saying, you know?
every day.
That's something that I want to start doing because it's like at the end of the day, like Balenciaga doesn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
And here you are.
That's actually what he taught me.
Cookies and kicks all day.
Yeah. Because one day he was, because he's dripped out. Yeah. Like he's very like fashionable.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's a little ASAP Rocky, right? But or not, was that right? ASAP Rocky?
Yeah.
That's where I need help. Will you see this fit, right?
But
like I'm about to hit the gym.
But he would tell me, he's like, I don't really spend money on shit anymore. I rock my own, and I'm like, damn. So then I think because of you, like the next month or whatever, I was like, I spent a couple $1,000 on Paxton stuff, and I was like, all right, everybody, here we go.
Yeah,
boom,
hoodies, hats, like, and it feels good, like seeing people rocking your shit, like. Because I know cookies became big as fuck. I see it everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get back. We need some more merch back for sure. I'll give it out to everybody.
Yeah. But that's what it is. It is true. I think, like, speaking to you, like, it's not, I don't want to say refreshing, but it's like you understand. You have financial literacy, right? It's not just like, oh, I make bread so I could do X, Y, Z. But it's like, because I think a lot of times you hear, oh, yeah, I treat money like air. So I know there's a lot of it. So I spend it as quick as I can. And if that works, it works, whatever it is for you. Because, yeah, the guy saying that makes a lot of money. But to me, that's not how I saw things. I saw it like, hey, you have to respect it in a sense. Because if you start calling it out,
it'll like, humble you real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And just, I don't know, like, I think... The like going back to the first topic where it's like education, like this is what's important, right? Not the like I don't remember shit from school. Like I studied a lot in school, but when it became the time where I was like, because I was working every single day as a sophomore, as a sophomore junior, I was working every single day, and trying to juggle school, homework, and all this crap, but like it was irrelevant to me. I don't give a crap about homework. Yeah. Right. But it did teach me the discipline where it was like, fuck, I don't want to wake up. I don't even want to be there, but I'm gonna do it, right? And people always ask, like, did you get disciplined from the Marine Corps? Like, it had its toll, but I had that before that, long before that, right? And it's to take advantage of what you can with what you got there and grow with it.
Facts.
But yeah, like I like having conversations like this because it's like, okay, if more people think this way, we might not be fucked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you'd be surprised. Like, I have conversations with people and they surprise me. I'm like, oh shit, like this guy's, he knows what he's like. He's on the same wave as me. Like, again, I'm not anybody. Like, I'm not right. You know, this is just what works for me and what I like to do. And when you meet people that are doing the same thing, which is another huge thing, surround yourself with people chasing the same thing as you.
Facts.
The saying that I love is, you surround yourself with 4 millionaires, you're going to be the 5th one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that like I've implemented so much, because friendships, all that's cool, you know, like I say laughing, but if you sit down and realize a lot of the conversations you have or the shit you're doing with some of your friends, like none of it's you're not getting anywhere. Like, if anything, you're losing brain cells, you know? So surround yourself with the group chasing the same thing, because you get inspired. Ideas come out. Dude, I've done business with Andy, his family. Like, I've made a lot of connections through them. I help them and they help me in business. So like,
when
they help me make money, I help them make money. So it's just like, surround yourself with the right group and the money just comes, you know? But you all have to be chasing the same thing.
Same goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that one team, one fight type of deal. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
okay. So from all the success that you've been able to achieve, right? What are you most proud of?
Finding myself, you know, like this person sitting here right now, like,
yeah, that's
the
heavy.
person I've become. Like, that's what is everything to me, because dude, I used to be a bully in high school. Like, I hate talking about this one. I'm not even going to talk about it because I might get emotional, but like, I know to this day, like I affected this one person's life so bad because I was a bully, you know, and that's something I carry with me like all the time.
Yeah.
You see? So being able to be who I am today, like, and know right from wrong, and just be like, you know, what I am today, like that is what's so worth it. Yeah. You know, that's what I chase every day, that's what makes me happy, to be able to hear people say they're proud of me, like, in the person that I become, the people that saw me grow up, you know,
of like,
dude, that's everything.
Yeah. You know, what's crazy is my mom took care of almost everything for me. Right. So like, I remember my mom said this to me 2 days ago at night, and she was like, hey, you know who called me the other day? This dude who used to take care of our car insurance, right? Like, my mom had her agent for car insurance. And then he asked about you, and he said, is he still causing trouble? Right? Because I wasn't listening to her.
Yeah.
I got in a couple accidents. Like, I was just being stupid, getting tickets. And this dude perceived me as like, oh, you know, mom took care of stuff, didn't worry about shit. Yeah. And then so like in the Asian culture, that's what parents talk about, is like, they like to like brag about kids. Yeah. So that's what I told my mom too. This is a side topic, but I was like, stop using me in your conversations. Like, I don't give a shit what your friends think about me. Yeah. It's like, yeah, but that's my pride and joy, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is how I get the one up on my friends. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't care. Yeah. But she said, she was like, yeah, I told him what you do, and he was so surprised and said he's proud of me. I'm like, what the hell? Like, it was weird to me, but I get what you're saying about, like, especially where you came from, right? Where people perceived you one way, and now that is you, but you did it, right? Which is another thing, because I know the statistic is like, I don't know the exact stat, but they're saying like only 10% of these 7, 8, 9 figure earners come from the money. The rest are self, right? They made it for themselves. But I don't know. I'm not saying that you came from it because you created it. Yeah. Right?
No, yeah. So, well, I had like the foundation, but I built from that.
You built it. Yeah. So congrats. That's sick.
Yeah.
Like, it's
congrats on everything. The house, you know, the flip. If you guys didn't know, he just did a nice little flip, his first flip. I mean, we were talking about it outside. You know, it's a learning experience for him, his first one. You know, I haven't even gotten there yet. He's still. I'm living at his house that he owns. His first house. Now he has his second house. You know, so it's good to see that. Good to see, like, you know, where you're at, and you know, besides from the past that you had, and you know, got a little emotional. It's good to see you become to who you are now. You know, and that's the reason why we wanted you on this podcast.
Yeah.
It's called Self-Paid for a reason. You know, you brought yourself from somewhere where you didn't like to somewhere where, you know, now that you're in love with yourself and you found yourself. So for everybody out there, I think this is a perfect way to end it.
Yeah. But we are giving back. So like, nonetheless, like our goal is to be able to create some sort of fund to give back, right? So, and we just talked about it.
Yeah.
Like that's huge for me. Part of that, like for me at least, it does get me going. It does motivate me when I see that, because I'm like, I know when I see that. So like that Thursday night, 9 p.m., I'm like, you know what? One day I'm gonna fucking take care of all this. I literally went home, because I had no cash.
Yeah.
And which is why your dad knows. He's like, I'm gonna carry cash.
Yeah.
I never carry cash. I went home.
I'm the same.
I texted Dom and I'm like, I'm gonna go back. So I didn't have cash. I had $100. I grabbed it, drove around to find her. Could not find her.
Yeah, and I was like, if you find her, let me know. Like,
yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna come too. I'll even bring food. And like, I got emotional like seeing that. I'm like, fuck, bro, I can't even relate to that.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about how my life was hard, right? So yeah, our goal with the podcast too is to be able to save or like help people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's through whatever means, like whether we fund it or
or you guys want to help, however it is.
Self-paid, it's great.
But there's a reason behind it.
But there's a reason behind it, and this was that reason, is to be able to inspire you. Not just because we're still in the middle of it. We're still like the way you think is the way I think. I'm a normal person. I'm not anything. I haven't done shit for myself.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. Like I still have a long way to go.
Yep.
I have a lot of failures. Not failures, I guess lessons, right? That's the correct term now. It's like I have a lot of things to learn nonetheless. I don't know everything, but it's to be able to share that with you and maybe give you a little bit of leverage, because this is something that I didn't have, where it's like I would look up podcasts or something of some millionaire and it's like so far from reach. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Like,
Yeah.
his problems, I can't relate to those problems, right? But I would be able to relate to some of my problems, whether it's not, and that's what it is. And if we gave you value, just share it. That's kind of the only thing. We're not asking for donations. We're not asking for anything, but nonetheless, there will be more, I guess, videos to come where you'll see a lot of the giving back, which, again, like I'm happy you're here, because obviously we had a great conversation, but the way that we click, because you want to give back just as bad as I do, and that's kind of the goal. So one day, like we want to be able to build the house or to do whatever for a family and impact them that way. So yeah, guys, if this helped, share it. Yeah, that's all we ask for.
Yeah. So Chris, we appreciate you on the podcast.
No, dude, I was humble. Like I was honored when they self-paid. They want me. I was like, me? I even asked. I was like, me? Well, like, what is it about? Because again, like I didn't consider myself much or that I have much, but like I said, well, I appreciate like you guys inviting me out. I haven't been on a podcast in a while, so
hell yeah,
it was
glad to
fun.
have you here, man. Let's end this off. I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys for your support. Again, share it to somebody. If you guys can't donate or don't want to donate, all we ask is you share it. This is another episode of Self-Paid, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.